Hello Mark, you've been doing a very interesting project using FLIGBY's game player data.
Yes.
Can you tell us a few words first about yourself and your professional background?
So my name is Mark Wilson, and I am a graduate student at Central European University. My background is actually in nonprofit management, but I'm a business analytics student, and so FLIGBY was really interesting to me because the data set is actually quite large, and the way that people play the game is very unbiased because they're really interested in learning throughout the process of playing the FLIGBY game.
So can you tell us, what have you been doing with the data set as a data analyst?
So the data set's pretty big, which is what makes it really interesting. I worked with a small set of the data of about 2,700 users. And I was really looking for any kinds of patterns that would be interesting. That's what was really cool about the data set, is that people play it in so many different ways.
So this Spirit of the Wine Award, which we also call the epic win, which drives people to win this simulation game, how is that related to leadership skills or to use of the media library? Did you discover something in
I did. So the Spirit of the Wine Award, the game was designed to measure three pieces, right? So it measures the profitability of the decisions being made, it measures the sustainability of the decisions made, and then most importantly, it measures the kind of the flow that each of the employees in the Tyrrell Winery experience at the end of the game. And so if you meet all those three criteria, and you can meet them in different ways, you win the award. And what I found was that age didn't make a difference, which is really interesting. Gender didn't make a difference, and more or less nationality didn't make a difference.
So this is good news. It sounds like it doesn't make a difference, but actually it means that the game, the measurement is not biased. Anybody can win it. It depends really on the skills of the person, right?
Right. And the reason why I can say that with confidence is because there is a thing that makes it more likely for someone to win, and that is their dedication to learning about the ideas that flow through the media library. And again, I went into looking at this data set without knowing what I was looking for and without any kind of like idea that I would find this. But really the only thing that affected whether someone won the game or not was the amount of time they spent playing the game, and the amount of time they spent in the media library and the number of items that they looked at. And those two items are very closely correlated, because really the only place you're going to spend extra time in the game is in the media library. And so the amount of dedication the player has towards the game really does affect whether they're going to win. And the way that that dedication can be shown is how curious they are. And so the curiosity of the players towards these ideas of flow really charted their ability to win the Spirit of the Wine Award.
Right. As a data scientist, a data analyst, how do you see the future of this non-intrusive way of observing people's skills? Is that going to grow in the future? Do you see a future for that?
I mean, that's the really interesting thing about FLIGBY, is that it's an unbiased data set, because again, people are playing it to kind of like, they're doing it in a work setting, and so they're playing it the same way that they're in a work mindset when they play it, or they're in school or something like that. But they're also doing it to learn, and they're kind of guided towards that for their purpose. And so they're not like goofing around, they're not like, testing all the different options. They might do that on their second playthrough, but I only looked at the first playthrough, and I only looked at the people who had completely finished the game. And it really showed that these were serious players. And so I think it's really rare to have a data set that's this large of people who are taking it seriously, who aren't, lots of times when people are self-reporting in a survey, there's always some percentage of people who are trolls or who want to be funny. But when you're playing FLIGBY, that's not likely how people are going to play it because of the environment they're playing it in. And so I think it's a really interesting data set. I think what's also really interesting is the game was designed so that about 40% of people win the Spirit of the Wine Award and 60% of people don't. Over the years, it's come out to be almost exactly 50-50, which also kind of shows that there is this kind of natural ability of people to play the game honestly, because you might expect over time, if people were trying to really trick the game, then that number might change more dramatically. but it really has stayed very close to the original goal of that 40-60 split.
One short question is, would you say that FLIGBY is rather a game or rather a simulation of leadership?
Oh, that's a good question. I kind of jump between the two, and I think it's a little bit of both to me. I can only really answer for myself. I think the way that the ideas were put into the story of FLIGBY really is a simulation, because I have over 10 years experience working in very large organizations doing very different types of work, and hopefully everybody was mission centric because I was working in the NGO world. And I experienced all of the types of conflicts that come up in the FLIGBY storyline. And it really, to me, it hit some personal nerves when I played it for the first time, because I've experienced all that. So I think simulation is a very good way to describe it.